LEX 18 News.
Pure hell. When they arrived, they had no chance. Thank God we were at least able to, some survive that did, to be honest with you.
A deadly ambush in a small eastern Kentucky town. The Floyd County Sheriff says at least 2 members of law enforcement killed after a man ambushed his deputies. And officials warn the death toll could rise. Thanks for joining me at noon. I'm Dia Davidson. Chris Goodman has the day off. This is, of course, a developing story, so we want to bring you up to speed with a look at what we know right now. The Floyd County Sheriff says 49-year-old Lance Storrs opened fire when deputies arrived to serve a warrant at his home. At least 2 officers were killed, along with police canine officer. 5 more officers were seriously injured, along with the county's emergency management director. Last night's deadly event started to unfold shortly before 6:45. Now, the scene, Railroad Street, that's in the Allen community of Floyd County. It's about 6 miles southeast of Prestonsburg on US 23. We've been following this story for you throughout the night and early this morning. So Evelyn Schultz and Sean Moody, they join us now from Allen with live team coverage. Evelyn starts us off with a timeline of what unfolded last night.
Dia, by the time the suspect was taken into custody, 8 public servants had been shot here in the small, tight-knit community of Allen. And take a look behind me today. There are still a lot of officers here on scene as state police continue their investigation. All day long, officers have been coming and going. They even extended the scene with yellow caution tape earlier this morning. The shootout happened a few blocks up the road on Main Street last night, just after 6:30. An arrest citation shows deputies showed up to the home of 49-year-old Lance Storrs to serve an emergency order of protection after a domestic violence incident in the afternoon. And when they arrived, that order says Storrs immediately began to shoot at them with a rifle. Floyd County Sheriff John Hunt told us Storrs hit 2 officers initially, and then when backup arrived, he fired at them as well. The standoff lasted for a few hours until police were able to arrest Storrs. Sheriff Hunt described that intense scene for LEX 18 this morning.
One deputy laid under a vehicle for hours as gunshot just went ringing over his head. And actually at one time the car that he was under just took a barrage of bullets and shot the canine dog in the back seat while this gentleman was under that car.
The injured officers were taken to hospitals across the region, including in Lexington, Prestonsburg, and West Virginia. So far, the victims have not been officially identified. Storrs also made his first court appearance this morning. Sean Moody was there for that, and he joins us live now with what he learned. Good afternoon, Sean.
Hey, Evelyn, it was a pretty short appearance here in Floyd County District Court this morning. We saw Lance Storrs arraigned on charges of murder of a police officer, attempted murder, and assault. Since these are all felonies, the judge automatically put in a not guilty plea on his behalf and assigned him a public defender so this case can move along. The Floyd County Sheriff and County Attorney were both in the courtroom this morning, and we talked to them after the arraignment to kind of get more of a sense of exactly what things were like out there last night. The Sheriff and the County Attorney were both pretty emotional this morning at the courthouse. We spoke with them after the arraignment. The county attorney described it as a war zone. He said at first they weren't sure what direction the bullets were coming from. He said the shooter was firing multiple weapons, small and large caliber, and that the shots were coming very quickly. He said they couldn't tell whether it was automatic gunfire or a semi-automatic gun being fired very quickly. Ultimately, they said they took Storrs into custody after hours of negotiating. They said the shooter made a movement to the outside and they took him into custody. It wasn't clear whether that means he surrendered to them or if they took him into custody by force. There are a lot of injuries here. People who were shot, people the county attorney said were hit with shrapnel. As you heard from Evelyn a moment ago, one was hiding under that car for hours and had carbon monoxide exposure. And of course, we know that at least 2 officers have died so far.
I don't know that there is any comfort for anybody at this time. Those people were not just police officers. I think that gets lost a lot of times in the media across the country. You hear about something happening in another state and you think, a police officer shot. But it's not a police officer shot, or multiple police officers in this case. These are human beings. These are people with children, spouses, and mom and dads. And their world will never be the same.
And that's certainly going to be the feeling across Floyd County as more and more details about what happened last night start coming out, and we learn more about the people who were killed and injured last night. This is, of course, a pretty small community, all things considered, and a lot of people are going to know the people who were out there last night and lost their lives. We're unaware so far of any memorial services or anything like that, but we'll certainly keep you posted as we get word of those. Also, the sheriff identified the dog that was shot and killed as part of this response as Drago. We also asked about the other family members. Of course, we're told this all began as a domestic incident, and so we asked the sheriff about any other family members who may have been involved. We were told that those family members were in a safe place once this all happened last night. Going forward from here, we're told that Storrs will remain jailed in the Pike County Jail on a $10 million bond. His next preliminary hearing will be July 11th. At 1:30. Dia, it's just been an absolutely awful night for the people here in Floyd County, and it's really only going to get sadder as we start to learn more about the people who lost their lives, the people who are injured, the people who are going to have just a life-changing future here. We'll stay on top of those things and bring you those stories as we learn them. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Sean, our thoughts and prayers, of course, with that community. And we will, of course, provide updates on the story as we get them here on air and across all of our digital platforms. The story is bringing up some bitter memories, though, here in central Kentucky as an attack in Jessamine County more than 20 years ago. It all happened November 13th of 2001. That's when deputies serving an arrest warrant on River Road came under fire. 3 were shot. It's Captain Chuck Morgan and Deputy Billy Walls were both killed. Deputy Sammy Brown was the only survivor. The sheriff's office continues to honor their memories, including a memorial run last November to mark 20 years after this shooting. Now to a pair of developing stories out of Lexington today. We've learned a bicyclist hurt in a crash downtown has died. Police say it happened shortly after 10 last night near the intersection of High Street and Oliver Lewis Way. The coroner says 30-year-old Michael Hensley was riding a bike when he was hit by a vehicle. He was pronounced dead at the scene shortly thereafter, and officers tell us the crash reconstruction unit is still investigating. Also in Lexington, a man was shot and 2 firefighters injured during an incident on the roof of a local business. 911 got the call for help from Monkey Joe's. That's just off Man o' War Boulevard in Hamburg around 7 this morning. First responders tell us someone working on the building's heating and air conditioning system was shot. They say 2 firefighters who slipped and fell at the scene were taken to the hospital for treatment of their minor injuries. Firefighters tell us it's not clear how exactly the worker came in contact with that electricity. Another day of hot and dry conditions across Kentucky, but there is some much-needed rain in our forecast. Meteorologist Tom Ackerman here with details to help you plan your 4th of July weekend. Tom?
Yeah, that humidity started climbing yesterday. It is certainly muggier out there, and it's hotter, and we do have a few showers already developing as we get into the early afternoon. We had a lone storm cruise across southern Fayette County earlier this morning. Cumulus clouds puffing up, bit of instability building. It's already 90 degrees, so the heat's on. The dew point is at 69, so that is some higher humidity. Fortunately, we're not that hot, but it does feel like we're in the mid-90s already. So the heat index at times today, what it feels like to you, will be in the upper 90s, pushing triple digits out west. So we're back into the hot and steamy stuff. You've got 88 in Cynthiana, mid-80s in our southeastern counties, and a scattering of primarily just some showers across southern Fayette County. The max track picking up on that. Run down into western Madison County and out west of Harrodsburg there. And the future track does show that development. So showers, some rumbles of thunder. Don't anticipate anything big this afternoon, and most folks won't be impacted, but they'll be hit or miss later in the day. And as a cold front drops in, we'll see additional showers and storms firing up primarily into Saturday. You'll notice if we start you out tomorrow and then take you through the 4th of July, the percentage actually trends down. So it could be some good news for the 4th itself. We'll get a complete breakdown of that storm tracker forecast.
Alrighty, Tom, thanks so very much. After more than 4 months behind bars in a Russian prison, today is the day WNBA star Brittany Griner heads to trial on drug possession charges. Griner was arrested at a Russian airport in February. She was traveling to play for a Russian team. Investigators say she had vape canisters with cannabis oil in her luggage. A U.S. official who spoke with Griner tells reporters today she's hopeful and doing as well as can be expected. CNN spoke with Griner's wife, Sherelle. She says she's deeply concerned after seeing some of the pictures and videos released of Griner over the past weeks.
So I don't really know, if it's photoshopped or if that's really her state of being and things of that nature. But, it was very hard to see. And so I understand propaganda to a certain degree. So I try not to take it as just truth. But it did make me worried.
It is still not clear exactly how long the trial will take. Looking at past American cases, though, tried in Russia, the vast majority of the defendants are eventually convicted. Today is the last day for WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to appeal his extradition to the United States. Assange faces more than a dozen counts of espionage for allegedly helping an Army analyst steal classified documents that were later published on WikiLeaks. A British official ruled he should be returned to the U.S. to face charges. Assange has the right, though, to appeal the ruling, as he has already done several times. A jury will soon decide the fate of a man accused of killing hip-hop star Nipsey Hussle. Eric Holder Jr. is charged with murder as well as attempted murder for allegedly shooting Hussle, as well as two other men outside of a clothing store in 2019. Holder's legal team acknowledges he fired the shots that killed Hussle, but argue he's not guilty of murder. Closing arguments in the case were Thursday. Now a jury is deliberating that case. A judge has decided the parents of Gabby Petito will be allowed to sue the parents of her boyfriend and alleged killer, Brian Laundrie. The Petitos are suing the Laundrie family for emotional distress. This comes months after Brian killed Petito during a cross-country road trip. He eventually returned home to Florida without her, but then took off, hiding in a nature reserve where he was later found dead with a letter confessing to that crime. Gabby's parents argue in court documents that while the Laundrie family spoke with the media hoping for Gabby's safe return, they may have known she was dead and where to find her body. It's not clear when this trial will begin. Nearly 70 years after the death of Emmett Till, investigators say they have found a long-forgotten arrest warrant. It was for the woman who played a critical role in his murder case. The 14-year-old black child was killed in 1955 in Mississippi, sparking a national outrage and galvanizing the civil rights movement. 67 years later, the family says someone found an unserved arrest warrant on a kidnapping charge for Carol Bryant Dunham. She's the woman who claimed Till whistled at her near a store corner. Her husband and brother-in-law were both acquitted, though, by an all-white jury, but later confessed to the brutal crime during interviews. Dunham, who is now in her 80s, was never charged. State and federal investigators have not publicly responded to calls from Till's family to reserve the warrant and try the case again with these new facts. Let's shift some gears now. Days after a deadly missile strike on a Ukrainian shopping mall, more Russian airstrikes have hit residential areas in the port city of Odessa. NBC's Ellison Barber has the latest from Ukraine.
Ukrainian officials say at least 19 civilians are dead after Russian missiles struck 3 different civilian areas in Odessa. They say Russian missiles hit an apartment building as well as 2 recreation camps. There are dozens of people injured and hospitalized, including children and at least 1 pregnant person. Right now, rescue efforts are still underway. Local officials say they worry some people might still be trapped inside the rubble. The majority of the injuries, according to local officials, occurred at the residential apartment building. It was 9 stories. 152 people lived there. A number of them are still unaccounted for. This attack, it comes less than a day after Russian forces left nearby Snake Island, a key strategic outpost in the Black Sea. Russian forces, they claimed that they left Snake Island as a gesture of goodwill. Ukrainian forces, they say that their bombardment on this island forced Russia to vacate it. It is unlikely that this change will change anything as it relates to the grain blockade, but there's some hope that perhaps this could allow a bit of a path where some of the grain that has been stuck in ports in nearby Odessa might be able to make it out to the rest of the world. That being said, Russia controls parts of Kherson, parts of Crimea, and they have weapons there where they can still fire towards the various ports all along the Black Sea. Reporting in Kyiv, I'm Ellison Barber, NBC News.
Most of the Commonwealth still way too dry, but some much-needed rain could alter your plans this 4th of July. Meteorologist Tom Ackerman tracking your full forecast. That's next. But first, for lottery players, tonight's Kentucky Mega Millions jackpot, $360 million, and Saturday's Kentucky Powerball jackpot sits at $20 million. You got to play to win. We'll be right back.
Many times when people are injured at a place of business, they don't realize they may have a case. The fact is, injuries should not happen. And most of the time when someone is injured, someone is at fault. Maybe the store manager installed a cheap and slippery floor, or there wasn't proper security. After an injury at a hotel, restaurant, store, or any place of business, it's so important to call us. Time matters, size matters. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
At West Shore Home, we pride ourselves on being the fastest and most convenient option for homeowners who are looking for a new shower or bath project. Today, Joe and I are going to look at some projects, why they're so popular, and how we can offer you some extra savings right now.
Yeah, well, Kirsten, the big question out there is why are so many people choosing to remodel their shower or bath right now?
Joe, right now, homeowners across America are looking for ways to reinvest and build value in their homes. Replacing your shower or bath is a great way to do that. For folks who call in right now, we're offering some great savings with our 4th of July flash sale. You can lock in that price and get limited time long-term financing of 0% APR for 48 months. And on top of that, for anyone who calls in now, we'll take an additional $1,500 off your shower or bath project.
Wow, it seems like the price of everything else keeps going up, but you're saying for anybody that calls in now, they can lock in their price and get 0% APR for 48 months. That's amazing. Now, Kirsten, for a project like this, they probably have to put some money down, right?
They definitely don't. So many people think when they're going to do a project like this, they have to have thousands of dollars saved up for a down payment. That's simply not the case.
So you're saying they can start their project now and not have to worry about paying anything out of pocket. That's incredible. Now, a lot of people might be wondering, what do one of these projects look like when they're finished? Can you give us an example?
This homeowner wanted something that was safer and more accessible. We came in and installed a brand new walk-in shower. The best part is they were able to take advantage of our long-term financing. That's 0% APR for 48 months. And just as a reminder, anyone who calls in right now can get an additional $1,500 off their project.
Wow, Kirsten, thanks so much. Folks, it does not get any easier than this. Call in now to get 0% APR for 48 months. And for a limited time, they're taking $1,500 off every shower and bath project. Don't miss this offer. Call West Shore Home now.
Arby's sells the most Greek gyros in America. If they wanted to sell the most Greek gyros in Greece, they'd have to open a store there and call it Arby's, but in Greece. Arby's, we have the meat.
Congratulations, Nancy Cox, for 30 remarkable years at LEX 18.
We are heading into the long 4th of July weekend, and it's starting to feel like you would expect it to feel this time of the year. We had that brief reprieve for a few days earlier this week when the humidity was way down, and it was just really comfortable out there, but just not feeling much like late June. Well, we're in the thick of it. You can see some of those cumulus clouds that are building out there, and we've also got some showers to go with it now on the southern side of Fayette County. You can see down southern Fayette County, southeastern Jessamine County, running down south of Richmond, between Richmond and Berea and Madison County there in western parts of Mercer County. We've got some showers that have just started to pop up really over the past 45 minutes to an hour or so. Indications of where we're headed for the afternoon. We'll have scattered showers, some occasional thunder showers. This cold front dropping in is going to be the prime factor in our weekend active weather, and we need it. I know the timing is just absolutely terrible, but we've had less than a half an inch of rain in Lexington in 22 days, over 3 weeks, so we are just bone dry out there. I've been showing this all week. This shows you our 30-day percentage of normal rainfall. Danville's at 39% of what you typically see at this point over the past 30 days. So it is just crispy out there, especially in southern counties, and it mirrors right up with where we've got that moderate drought that extends up into southwestern Fayette County, and then you're just abnormally dry, that first stage of drought running north and east. Northern Kentucky's in slightly better shape than the rest of us. There's a severe risk tomorrow. It's marginal. It's on the low end there, but some of the storms that pop will be slow movers, could put down some damaging wind gusts and just locally heavy rain. But overall, we're just in for unsettled weather on and off for days. We're getting stuck in a very static summery pattern here. Now, what will ramp up the shower and storm chances tomorrow is that frontal boundary dropping in, and it's going to come in waves. There'll be big breaks in the action, but scattered stuff today. By Saturday morning, as the front settles in, there could be another round of showers, thunder showers dropping south, a break, and then Saturday afternoon, evening, additional development along that frontal boundary. You notice Saturday morning, this front's still hanging around. So by Sunday, we could have yet another wave pulling in with some heavier rain there. So, you know, at some point over the weekend, I'm hoping everybody gets a chance, because we've got multiple rounds coming our way, to get wet here and pick up some much-needed precipitation. We're showing generally over the next 5 days, and again, it's going to be very hit or miss. You can be talking anywhere between a few tenths of an inch to over an inch of rain or more, and it'll be localized, where you see some of those heavier ones could be from multiple rounds coming through. The other thing we got to deal with, of course, is the heat and humidity. It's 90 degrees in Lexington already. The dew point has bubbled up into into the upper 60s, low 70s. It was down in the 40s and 50s earlier this week, which is very drier. This is the mugginess. It crept up from down south. You could feel it happening late yesterday. So the heat index feels like it's 95 in Lexington, 97 in Covington. Could push some triple digits north and west, but the humidity is going to stay high. We're not going to have the extremes in heat, so we're not going to end up heat advisories or excessive heat warnings like we had earlier in June. But, yeah, if you look at that dew point temperature chart, we're in that muggy to swampy range here, and, yeah, you'll feel it as you head outside today. And this shows the mugginess entrenched across the Ohio Valley. There is some drier air that's going to cut in behind that cold front as it stalls. So northern Kentucky may actually see a little bit of relief at times, especially Sunday. But that cold front that stalls is going to push back north as a warm front. So by the 4th of July, we'll be firmly in the heat and the humidity. And, well, there you can see by early next week, highs climbing from our bottom on Sunday, where we bottom out and right around our average high, upper 80s, around 90 again. So, yeah, we're just consistently in those upper 80s to low 90s, and you'll see this in your 8-day pretty much throughout the entirety of it. Low 90s today, hot and muggy, scattered showers, thunder showers developing into the afternoon. We'll keep an eye out. If you're out and about, keep an eye out for those as well. Partly cloudy, some scattered showers and storms overnight. And it's going to be on and off through the weekend. Rounds coming through and then big breaks in the action, then additional waves developing. The 4th of July looks to be our lowest chance, which is good. That warm front will lift north. It'll be a hot and steamy 4th, but showers and storms will be with us all the way through the end of the 8-day.
All righty, Tom, thank you. Now to some major developments for several former UK basketball stars. Free agency began last night. 2 former Cats inked deals of nearly $250 million. That's with a B. And 3 are joining teams in California. So let's take a look at Devin Booker's new deal with Phoenix. He signed a 4-year deal worth $214 million. Karl Anthony Towns staying with the Minnesota Timberwolves 4 more years with a deal worth $224 million. Lake Monk inked a 2-year, $19 million contract to join De'Aaron Fox and Trey Lyles on the Sacramento Kings. And Kevin Knox signed a 2-year deal worth $8 million with the Detroit Pistons. Not too bad, guys. Well, still to come at noon, gas prices are down, but pilots are picketing just as the 4th of July holiday weekend rush begins. We have the latest developments before you go when LEX 18 News at Noon returns after the break.
Both Marshall and I are family-oriented people. I have a pretty big family. He has a growing family that's getting really big, and we try to put our families first in our personal life. With respect to our professional life, it's really important that we work with our clients to get back to a place where they can enjoy their family as much as they can after an accident.
When you can help those people and see that you made a difference, that's very rewarding. And that's what we hopefully have done through these last 20 years.
Meet a doctor who connects all the dots. Oftentimes, people with low back pain, knee pain, or hip pain don't even recognize that it's actually coming from their feet. Their feet? For real? Absolutely, 100%. It can have a domino effect because their foot and their ankle aren't supported properly. Their whole body is out of whack. Getting back into whack? Good Feet arch supports could help. Keeping your body in good alignment, that can go a long way. Come in for your free fitting at the Good Feet store.
They remind us of the wonder of living. And the power of quiet moments that put life into focus. The mountains are calling. Plan your next memory at gatlinburg.com.
It's like I'm downloading in slow motion. Wish we had better internet.
Charlie! That's right. It's me, Charlie. Wish specialist for Spectrum. Let's get that wish granted.
How?
Spectrum Internet delivers fast speeds for a stronger connection on all your devices. Here. Yeah! And here. Plus, get a free modem and free desktop security to keep your kids safe online.
Get Spectrum Internet for $49.99 a month. Call 833-768-4999.
Why do we need all these remotes? I wish our shows were in one place.
Spectrum TV makes it easy to find your favorites. Plus, you'll have access to over 85,000 titles on demand. And with the free Spectrum TV app, you can watch live sports, news, and more on any device, anywhere.
Get Spectrum TV for $49.99 a month. Call 833-768-4999.
I wish we didn't have a contract.
Rent it.
Oh, he's good. Switch to Spectrum Internet or TV, or get them both for $49.99 a month each, all with no contracts. Call 833-768-4999.
Welcome to my digestive system. It's pretty common here with Align Probiotic. You see, your gut has good and bad bacteria. And when you get off balance, you may feel it. The bloating, the gas. But Align helps me trust my gut again.
Plus, it's recommended by doctors nearly 2 times more than any other probiotic brand.
Just one a day naturally helps promote a balanced gut and soothe occasional bloating, gas, and discomfort. Align Probiotic. Welcome to an Align gut.
The Kentucky Lottery, providing over $4 billion in grants and scholarships.
You're watching LEX 18 News at noon.
July 4th holiday weekend finally here, and it's traditionally one of the busiest travel weekends of the summer. So let's take a live look right now at Myrtle Beach, a favorite summer destination point for many Kentuckians. So if you're planning to travel to the Grand Strand and shag on the boulevard, you should be aware gas prices are down, but issues with air travel could cause some delays and headaches. Amy Kiley has your story.
If you're traveling this holiday weekend, here's some good news. And some bad news. AAA reports gas prices have ticked down in the last week, and you might not see as much traffic.
These road trippers this holiday season are going to be making shorter trips. 3/4 of our survey respondents said that high gas prices are having an impact. They're also thinking bringing friends along to help cover the cost of gas.
The bad news is if you're flying, you might have to deal with flight cancellations.
There are absolutely going to be flight cancellations this weekend.
Some airlines say staffing issues are part of the problem. Off-duty Delta pilots have been picketing at airports across the country.
We don't have enough pilots, and the company is scheduling more flights than they can fly.
A union representing the pilots says they're on track to work more overtime this year than in 2018 and 2019 combined. Delta isn't the only airline cutting flights, and it says it's working on the problem. Passengers are caught in the middle.
If they're happy, we're happy as clients of Delta, so I think they should just get it together and work out whatever they need.
The best advice I can give is if you can fly a couple days early, absolutely do it. It might even be worth paying a few extra dollars to fly direct.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
4th of July fireworks shows, another thing, gonna set you back more than usual this year. According to the American Pyrotechnics Association, costs are 35% higher across the industry and twice as high as 2019. They say costs for shipping, materials, and labor all helped push firework prices higher in 2022. Group says higher demand also helped to fuel the surge in prices as more folks turn to at-home displays due to COVID-related cancellations over the past 2 years. They say good news, more people want to see those public firework displays this year. And you can see them here in Lexington on Monday, 4th of July at 10 p.m. sharp downtown, right near R.J. Corman. Well, thanks so much for making us a part of your noon routine. LEX 18 News at 12:30 is next. Have a good one.
LEX 18, streaming local news 24/7. Search for LEX 18 on your device.
More furniture, more style, more inventory, and more savings. That's what you'll find at the Burke Furniture 4th of July sale. Featuring 4th of July discounts, plus 0% financing is available. The Burke Furniture 4th of July sale.
Summer's here, and that means it's time to celebrate. Who can pass up classic franks for $11.99, 20, 40, or 50 count? And a 4-pound tray of barbecued pulled pork for $14.99. Homestyle ground beef patties are only $14.99 per 5-pound box. Macaroni and cheese is just $9.99 for a 5-pound tray. And Bush's baked beans are only $7.99 for a 7-pound 5-ounce can. So no matter what you're celebrating, Gordon Food Service Store has you covered.
Take your time, hon.
Play the Kentucky Lottery online, anywhere, anytime.
I won! Yes!
More games, more chances to win. Anytime is playtime.
Nice purse.
Right now is your chance to get an incredible deal on over $10 million of in-stock home furnishings. The July 4th sale at P-Rats. Take an extra 10 to 20% off our sale prices. And now get up to 5 years interest-free. Price drop. Save $380 on an Ashley sofa and love seat. Get both for only $599. Save over $1,000 on an in-stock Samsung 4-piece kitchen package. $29.99. Samsung top-load laundry pair. $9.99.
Nobody beats P-Rats.
When moderate to severe ulcerative colitis persists, put it in check with Rinvoq, a once-daily pill.
When UC got unpredictable, I got rapid symptom relief with Rinvoq. Check.
When UC held me back, I got lasting steroid-free remission with Rinvoq. Check.
And when UC got the upper hand,
Rinvoq helped visibly repair the colon lining. Check. Rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission, and a chance to visibly repair the colon lining. Check, check, and check.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers, including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Put UC in check and keep it there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq and learn how AbbVie could help you save.
More furniture, more style, more inventory, and more savings. That's what you'll find at the Burke Furniture 4th of July sale. Featuring 4th of July discounts, plus 0% financing is available. The Burke Furniture 4th of July sale.
Count on LEX 18 News.
It's not a police officer shot, or multiple police officers in this case. These are human beings. These are people with children, spouses, and mom and dads. And their world will never be the same.
An emotional day in Floyd County following a shootout that left 2 officers dead and many hurt. With the accused shooter now in custody, we have live team coverage on what happened. LEX 18 News at 12:30 starts now. I'm Angie Bevan, and we've got team coverage this afternoon of the deadly ambush on police officers and county officials in Floyd County. It all started just before 6:45 last night near the intersection of Main and Railroad Streets in the Allen community. That's about halfway between Prestonsburg and Martin along US 23. Police say that they went to the home for a domestic dispute, and that's when 49-year-old Lance Stortz opened fire. Several officers were hit, killing 2 of them and a police K-9 officer. 8 more officers were hurt, along with the county emergency management director. LEX 18's Evelyn Schultz has been in Floyd County all morning. She joins us now live with the latest.
By the time the suspect was taken into custody, 8 public servants had been shot here in the small, tight-knit community of Allen. There are still officers on scene today. They have been here all day long. They were here all through the night as they continue their investigation. Officers have been coming and going from this scene. They even extended the scene with yellow tape earlier this morning. The shootout happened a few blocks up the road on Main Street last night, just after 6:30. An arrest citation shows deputies showed up to the home of 49-year-old Lance Stortz to serve an emergency order of protection after a domestic violence incident earlier in the afternoon. And when they arrived, Stortz immediately began to shoot at them with a rifle. Floyd County Sheriff John Hunt told us Stortz hit 2 officers initially, and then when backup arrived, he fired at them as well. The standoff lasted for a few hours until police were able to arrest him.
This guy had it seemed to be a plan, and he pretty much executed that plan almost to precision, and thank God we were at least able to, some survive that did, to be honest with you. But for the ones that were there, they lived in pure hell for some time, and it wasn't good.
The injured officers were taken to hospitals across the region, including in Lexington, Prestonsburg, as well as in West Virginia. So far, those victims have not been officially identified. All morning long, members of the community have been bringing by food, coffee, water for the state police who are still on scene. We spoke with employees of one local pharmacy, which is actually just up the street from this scene. They didn't want public recognition, but they told us that Allen and Floyd County are a family, and that's why they felt they had to show support during this tough time for everyone here. Now let's check in with Sean Moody, who was in the courtroom as the suspect made his first appearance this morning. Good afternoon, Sean.
Hey, Evelyn. Lance Storrs had his arraignment just after 9:30 here in Floyd County District Court. It was a video arraignment from where he's jailed over in Pike County. The judge read him the charges, asked if he understood them, and then because these are felony charges, went ahead and entered a not guilty plea on his behalf and assigned him a public defender. Storrs himself didn't really say much other than to acknowledge the judge's statement during that arraignment. As we were inside the courtroom today, we could tell just how much this incident has affected everybody involved here. The county attorney and the sheriff were both in the courtroom. And, of course, they were on the scene last night. It was deputies from the Floyd County Sheriff's Office who were there when this all began. Sheriff John Horn said his deputies came under fire as soon as they showed up to investigate a domestic violence case. And we're told that incident then went on for 5 or 6 hours until Stoles was taken into custody. They've charged him with murder of a police officer, attempted murder, and assault.
And when I say it's a war zone, when I pulled into this area, we're talking about people in fatigues, people with body armor, people with night vision, people with assault weapons. If that's not a war zone, I don't know what it is. You know, when I get out of the car, there's bullets raining down on us. It's a war zone. There were multiple weapons, lots of ammunition. You could hear I was actually personally there, you could hear the gunfire ring out, and you could tell there were different caliber weapons, some smaller caliber, some larger caliber, some shooting at extreme velocities. I mean, very quick shooting. I don't know if it's fully automatic or if he's just shooting a semi-automatic extremely fast, but there were multiple weapons.
For now, Stoles will remain in the Pike County Jail in a $10 million bond. His preliminary hearing is set for July 11th. I also asked about the people who were involved in that initial domestic violence case that they were going to investigate. The sheriff and the county attorney told me that those family members had been taken away. They were in a safe place before all this began last night. As the legal case moves forward, there's also the emotional side of things. This is a fairly small town, and a lot of people are going to end up knowing the people who were killed or injured out there last night. Of course, we know at this point 2 police officers dead. Others, we understand, are badly injured. As those names start coming out over the next hours or days, I'm certain here in the community we'll start hearing stories about all the people who knew these officers and what they mean to them. As we start to learn all that information, we'll certainly keep you posted. Angie, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Sean, and also Evelyn, thank you. Switching gears now to our weather. We are seeing some rain in the area. It is much needed, but some storms, of course, might put a damper on 4th of July plans. So let's check in with meteorologist Tom Ackerman. He can kind of tell us what we can expect this afternoon and on into the weekend.
Well, pretty limited into the afternoon, Angie, but there will be scattered showers and thunder showers out there. We've already had some development, but it's primarily south of here. What you're seeing here, cumulus clouds building up into the heat of the day, and we've got heat. Already 90 degrees in Lexington, so say goodbye to those drier, more comfortable days from earlier in the week. Another important number, the dew point, it's at 69. That is an indication of muggy air. When you get into the 60s, it gets muggy. We were in the 50s and even 40s earlier this week when it was so comfortable and so dry out there. So the heat index, what it feels like, already feels like it's in the mid-90s. And check this out, the Kentucky Mesonet. Current temperatures, a lot of upper 80s, mid to upper 80s. There's a 90 down in Stanford, and then you throw the humidity into the mix. The heat index already feeling like it's 98 in Cynthiana. So we could have some heat indices pushing triple digits today. And there are the showers that are becoming more numerous into our southeastern counties on the Max Track Live Doppler. You can see south and east primarily is where they're showing up. Our northern counties haven't seen as much. But the future track shows that into the afternoon, throughout the afternoon, we will have these showers, occasional thunder showers firing. And that chance is only going to get better as we go through the weekend, with the peak likely tomorrow into Sunday, which could mean some good things for the 4th. We'll get a complete check of that long 4th of July holiday weekend forecast coming up.
All right, Tom, thanks. If you've got plans to drive this holiday weekend, AAA is warning the heat could increase drivers' chances of breakdowns. AAA recommends drivers check everything before they leave. Officials also recommend packing an emergency kit filled with water, non-perishable food, jumper cables, a flashlight with extra batteries, emergency reflectors, basic tools, and a first aid kit. It's estimated as many as 42 million Americans will travel by car this holiday weekend. And the Lexington Fire Department wants to remind people in Fayette County fireworks that go up or blow up are illegal. Only safe and sane fireworks are permitted. These include anything that does not explode or leave the ground. Some examples are fountains, sparklers, smoke balls, snakes, pinwheels, and noisemakers, just to name a few. If you purchase fireworks from an authorized retailer in Fayette County, it's fair to assume that they are legal to use in the county. However, they say they they recommend leaving fireworks up to the professionals. A man pardoned by former Governor Matt Bevin is now back in jail. Joachim Bandy was 15 years old when he was sentenced for robbery and assault. He was pardoned by former Governor Bevin in 2019. When issuing the pardon, Bevin wrote Bandy was, quote, turning his life around, and that he was, quote, confident he will do great things with his life, end quote. According to his recent arrest warrant issued March 15th of this year, Bandy strangled and assaulted the mother of his child. Bandy, who is now 20 years old, is charged with strangulation, assault, and criminal mischief. 2 lawsuits have been filed against a popular vegan meal kit service just days after a voluntary recall of its meals. The 2 claimants say that they got so sick after eating Daily Harvest French lentil and leek crumbles and had to have their gallbladders removed. Last week, Daily Harvest posted on its website the product had been sent to U.S. customers from April 28th to June 17th. Now, at that time, the company said it had received nearly 500 reports of adverse reactions. They asked customers to throw out the meals. Daily Harvest founder and CEO Rachel Drury said on Monday the company is working around the clock to determine the root cause behind the health issues. And she says that they are also cooperating with the FDA's probe. Well, much needed rain is coming for the 4th of July holiday weekend. Tom will be back in next with what you need to know for your holiday plans and your complete Storm Tracker forecast.
The pandemic brought challenges for everyone, especially for people trying to overcome a substance use disorder. If you, a family member, or a friend needs help for addiction, remember, you are not alone. LEX 18 is here to help you connect with the resources you need to rebound and recover. Find out more at lex18.com/youarenotalone. Sponsored by Operation Unite.
The Kentucky Lottery, providing over $4 billion in grants and scholarships.
LEX 18 wishes you a safe 4th of July.
When you or a loved one is seriously injured in a car wreck that wasn't your fault, you feel like you're losing control. Hughes & Coleman is here for you.
We can get you every dollar you deserve and need. Control starts with a call. Hughes & Coleman, 800-800-4600.
Are you tired of stepping over your bathtub every time you want to take a shower? Well, West Shore Home makes bathing a breeze with their low-step shower bases, sturdy grab bars, and multiple seating options. The entire shower system is designed to keep you safe while showering. West Shore Home is offering their biggest discounts of the season on all shower and bath projects. Call in right now to get 0% APR for 48 months. And for a limited time, they're taking $1,500 off every shower and bath project. Call West Shore Home now.
I would try to encourage anyone to quit smoking. I can't tell you what to do, but what I can tell you is that this can happen to you.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Since 1903, Community Trust Bank has been growing places, business places, just like yours. Community Trust Bank is here to help your business grow or start up a new one with lines of credit, mobile banking, merchant services, and more. We're one of the region's top-rated small business lenders because we listen. So let's get together and get growing. Your place or ours. Community Trust Bank. Building communities built on trust.
Jagged Little Pill. You ought to know. Ironic. Next, Kelly. Alanis Morissette.
Today at 2 on LEX 18.
When you or a loved one have been seriously injured in a wreck, it feels like you're losing control. Don't leave your future in the hands of the insurance company. Call Hughes & Coleman today. Control starts with a call. Hughes & Coleman, 800-800-4600.
Here comes the heat, here comes the humidity, and as well, unsettled weather for your 4th of July weekend. We've already got those cumulus clouds puffing up into the heat of the day, and we've got some showers to go along with it. The Max Track's got them down around eastern Jessamine County, and they've been generally drifting off to the east-northeast this morning. We had a lone thunder shower pretty much tracked right across there earlier this morning, the same place we're seeing some of these scattered showers starting to fire up. So some folks will get lucky and get wet today. A lot of folks won't because of the scattered nature of this, but there is a cold front dropping south, and it'll get in here, and it'll be the focus for this. A rising chance for showers and storms. Notice, though, that it peaks Saturday and then starts to drop off in our minimum as far as shower and storm chances goes. It's actually going to be on the 4th of July, so that's good news for the parade and for the 4th of July festivities, especially the fireworks later in the evening. It's pretty typical to have a hot and muggy setup and have a chance for storms, primarily into the afternoon, then diminishing in the evening once the sun sets. And we're kind of getting into that summery pattern once we get this front out of here over the weekend. That's the severe risk for Saturday, a marginal risk. We could see some gusty showers and thunder showers. Similar setup for today, just more limited in its scope. We'll have a much better chance for more widespread coverage Saturday as this front gets in here. The forcing of that in the daytime heating will give us that slightly better chance for some stronger storms there that could put down some damaging wind gusts and heavy rain. Boundary slowly sags in here, stalls. So that's Saturday getting into the afternoon, and it'll come in waves. You can see additional development to the south of that front. And then as that boundary hangs around, we should see a renewed shot tracking in. This is Sunday morning, fairly widespread rain along the boundary, possibly north of I-64. So, yeah, the timing and the location of this will be, a little more short-term as we go through the weekend. We'll keep you updated. But know that you could pick up anywhere between a few tenths to an inch of rain or even more, especially if you get multiple rounds coming through the same area. So with the ongoing drought, this is some good news. Not great news for festivities for a long holiday weekend for folks. And, yeah, it's already steamy. 90 in Lexington. The dew points in the upper 60s to low 70s. The heat index already feels like it's 97 in Covington, 95 in Lexington. And that dew point stays elevated. You will see drier air coming in behind the front, stalling. So northern Kentucky may see a little bit of weekend relief, but most of us will stay socked in with this higher moisture, this higher humidity, this uncomfortable air. And, of course, the heat stays fairly consistent as well. Even though we're showing fluctuation here, it's only by a matter of a few degrees. 92 today, 87 Sunday, which is our normal high. And then for the 4th, pushing 90 and into the low 90s again by the middle of next week. So yeah, there's not a big drop or rise in those temperatures. It's consistent heat, consistent humidity, and as well the potential for just about a daily shower and storm chance in the next week, getting into that summery kind of static setup where you've got the same thing day by day. 90s out there all over the place as far as the bluegrass is concerned, from Shelbyville out through eastern Kentucky. You've got the same, Moorhead around 90, Frenchburg some upper 80s. Our southeastern mountain counties, you guys are in on the heat around 90 in Barberville today. So, yeah, it's a hot and muggy summery day down at the lake as well. Look at Whitley City at 88. The shower and storm chance peaks Saturday. Between Saturday and Sunday, that'll be the main time frame to have active weather. It'll diminish Monday and then fire back up again consistently throughout the rest of that 8 day.
Tom, thank you. Cement production accounts for nearly a tenth of all carbon emissions, in large part due to the burning of quarried limestone. The Department of Energy doesn't like that, so it recently awarded nearly $40 million to grants to universities who are working to cut that number down. Dan Grossman found the answer could be algae.
Just when you thought chemistry class ended in 7th grade, here we are. And today we're looking at the wonders of concrete. It is quite literally the foundation of our cities and highways. If you're into DIY projects, maybe you've made it yourself when working around the home. To get it, you mix cement, water, sand, and a few other ingredients to get that goopy paste that then hardens. But we're here to focus on the cement portion of that equation, the light gray chalky stuff. It comes from limestone, specifically when we burn it at really hot temperatures. That process releases CO2, lots of it, as it contributes mightily to our global carbon footprint.
Today, cement production alone is responsible for 7% of our global CO2 emissions.
Will Strubar is an associate professor of civil and architectural engineering at the University of Colorado Boulder. He's also the person who is dedicating his knowledge to cutting that number down.
We're trying to make a cement that stores and sequesters more CO2 than is emitted during its manufacture.
So, we talked about how cement is made from burning limestone. Will thought, what if we found another way to get that limestone, a way that took carbon out of the atmosphere instead?
This is kind of what one would expect.
Through a $500,000 grant, Will did some research and found microalgae, specifically a kind known as coccolithophores, takes carbon out of the atmosphere through photosynthesis and creates the same compounds as limestone. So, if we burn that instead, it's a carbon-neutral process that adds no more CO2 to our atmosphere. In some cases, it might even take more out than it adds.
It's really plug and play with conventional cement and concrete manufacturing. The only thing that has to change is switching from quarrying limestone to growing it. Every other part of the process is identical.
The Department of Energy thought Will's discovery was so promising, it just awarded him $3.2 million to further his research. Nationwide, it gave a total of $36 million to 17 other universities and labs working to cut down the carbon footprint of construction by creating replacements for things like wood, insulation, and paneling. As Will said, in doing so, paving the way toward a greener future.
And what's really exciting about this particular project is that we are breaking down the barriers of scale and of cost to pave the way toward commercialization.
I'm Dan Grossman.
Still ahead, the Colorado Avalanche almost didn't get their Stanley Cup when it was delivered to the wrong house. More on the big mix-up when LEX 18 News at 12:30 returns after the break.
Breakfast bagels are back at McDonald's. A folded egg, 2 slices of cheese, and your choice of a steak patty, bacon, or sausage, all in a toasted bagel. Breakfast bagels are back, but only for a limited time.
Have you ever left a funeral home feeling better than when you walked in? Families that plan celebrations at Clark Legacy Center do. Their approach is different from a traditional funeral home because they design celebrations that highlight what makes a life unique. Whether it's hosting a final bingo tournament in their honor, serving Grandma's secret chicken soup recipe, or a traditional wine and cheese gathering, the folks at Clark Legacy Center can design the perfect tribute for your family.
Take your time, hon.
Play the Kentucky Lottery online, anywhere, anytime.
I won! Yes!
More games, more chances to win. Anytime is playtime.
Nice purse.
Lexington Overstock Warehouse is open this weekend only for our 4th of July sale. Get the lowest prices on the biggest brands. Get this dual reclining sofa for only $598. Plus, get 12 months interest-free financing. Go to LexingtonOverstockWarehouse.com for more details.
Do you suffer from knee pain? Ever been diagnosed with osteoarthritis? Or worried about the risks involved with knee surgery?
It hurt all the time, like the nerves were rubbing against each other.
I was at the point of either replace my knees because I'm tired of this pain.
Get the relief you need without surgery. We're Arthritis Knee Pain Centers, the premier leaders in non-surgical knee pain treatments. Instead of surgically replacing your knees, our state-of-the-art procedures replenish the depleted natural cushioning in your joints with an FDA-approved shock-absorbing gel, without surgery and without downtime.
After the first injection, I knew it was going to work.
We've successfully treated thousands of patients. Medicare and most private insurance cover this procedure.
Full motion, no pain, walking, everything just back normal like it used to be.
Now with locations in Lexington. Call 1-800-211-2919 for a free no-obligation knee pain assessment or go to arthritis-kneepain.com.
At Bob's, choice and value go together like, sofas and love seats. Like my Forte reclining sofa or console love seat with loads of features like Bobapedic memory foam seating. And it comes in 2 colors. Your choice, only $7.99 each. Upgrade to their power versions and pay only $9.99 each. So you can recline with the touch of a button, charge your phone in a snap, and spend more of that hard-earned cash outside the home. Because furniture isn't everything, you know. Did I say that out loud?
Get Bob's Discount!
Only at Bob's Discount Furniture.
Breakfast bagels are back at McDonald's. A folded egg, 2 slices of cheese, and your choice of a steak patty, bacon, or sausage, all in a toasted bagel. Breakfast bagels are back, but only for a limited time.
LEX 18 News, Evening Edition.
The local news you need at the right time.
You're watching LEX 18 News at 12:30.
It was a delivery mix-up of epic proportions. The Stanley Cup almost didn't make it to yesterday's Colorado Avalanche victory celebration after it was delivered to the wrong house earlier in the week. Jeannie Mose explains.
Avalanche may be champions, but their Stanley Cup trophy ended up being greeted by a barking dog, delivered to the wrong address.
When he opened it, I was like, whoa.
Longtime married couple Kit Karbler and Dmitry Rudenko weren't expecting any deliveries when an SUV backed into their driveway the other day, and Dmitry spied a case that looked familiar, so he joked.
Was it a Stanley Cup?
Is that a Stanley Cup? And he says, yes.
He, being one of the 2 delivery men,
I said, well, can I see it? Can I touch it? And he's like, sure. So the first thing I did was feel the rim.
The cup was supposed to be going to the team's captain. But his home address was only one digit off from Kit and Dimitri's. Are you guys hockey fans?
We are now.
We are now.
The mix-up was quickly sorted out. Kit only had time to snap this photo. If only he had longer.
I could have had the dog drink out of it.
The players got to kiss and flaunt the trophy, but as Kit immediately raved in a text,
I got to touch it! Exclamation point.
It sounds like one of those old knock-knock jokes. Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Stanley.
Stanley who?
Cup. Their cup runneth over, finding Stanley Cup at their door.
That's crazy.
Jeannie Mose, CNN, New York.
And coming up, we've got your pet of the day from the Lexington Humane Society. We'll meet Penny up next.
After a car crash, the big insurance companies you see advertising on TV, they may try to downplay your case and might say it's only a fender bender or it's just a herniated disc. I worry that some law firms fall for this BS. Not us. We put ourselves in your shoes and ask, what would it be like to be in your pain for the rest of our lives? $1 million wouldn't be enough for me. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.
You told us a little about yourself, but your things told us a lot. They said that you're fearless, that you love the sun and the snow. You told us it's your dream to travel. Your things told us it's also your job. You needed room to coast. We helped you make it. California Closets. Make room for all of you.
Oak Factory is overstocked and having a store-wide sale. Sofas starting at $849, recliners at $769, entertainment centers at $499. Everything in the store has a marked-down price. Shop Oak Factory, Brannon Crossing, Nicholasville Road.
Welcome to Total Wine.
Carol? You look... Oh, I know. I just love this wine.
Hello there, single barrel beauty. Oh. I think you'll love this Cabernet.
Oh, that's the one.
Love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
This week on The Race, we're talking about national security. How experts say extremist groups are recruiting young people in ways that aren't hard to find.
Watch The Race, Sunday at 9:30 a.m. on LEX 18.
Dateline tonight.
I was robbed of my sister.
A single act of evil.
She didn't belong out there.
The power of a mother's love.
She fought and fought for justice.
Dateline tonight, 10/9 Central.
100% the golden buzzer is my favorite part of the show.
You've chosen your top 15.
I've got goosebumps.
Look at this.
Absolute magic.
AGT, Tuesday on NBC.
LEX 18's Pet of the Day, sponsored by Southern Barker, reserved for the dog.
We are wrapping up LEX 18 News at 12:30 with our Pet of the Day. Jody Shoup from the Lexington Humane Society joins us this afternoon with Penny. So tell us about Penny.
Well, you can guess that June is kitten season, and right now we're overrun with kittens. And Penny is just one of the cute little babies that we have here looking for a home. She's about 8 weeks old. She's super snuggly, and she's an adventurer. It's all I can do to keep a hold of her while we were waiting to go live. And she likes to purr.
Oh, Penny is very sweet. So you can check out Penny. And like she said, they've got a lot of cats and kittens right now at the Lexington Humane Society. You can find Penny and all those other animals up for adoption at their adoption center on Old Frankfort Pike. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon, Jody. And thank you, everyone, for joining us here at 12:30. Our next newscast is coming up at 4 o'clock. We hope you'll join us then. Have a good afternoon.
LEX 18, streaming local news 24/7. Search for LEX 18 on your device.
The line between caregiver and family member can be so exhausting. Trilogy is there to be the caregiver, so you can continue to be the family member.
There are 7 Trilogy senior living communities in the Lexington area. Visit us online to find one near you. Trilogy, where family comes to live.
If you want an authentically flame-seared knife-carved gyro, you can go to Greece and get one, or you can go to Arby's. Whichever is closer. Arby's, we have the meat.
I started smoking when I was 16. Now I have end-stage COPD. My tip is, if you keep smoking, your freedom may only go as far as your oxygen tube.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Some things just go together, like Saturday mornings and cartoons, sunshine and roses, and Spectrum Mobile and Spectrum Internet. Great by themselves, but built to work together so you get crazy fast speeds and even more advanced security. So you get fast speeds when you're out and faster, more secure connections at home. Because they're made to go together, like socks and sandals.
My dad wears those.
Sounds like a cool dude.
He's not.
For fast speed and more security, get Spectrum Mobile and Spectrum Internet together. Call, click, or visit a Spectrum store today.
Hey everybody, Joe with Kirsten from West Shore Home. And Kirsten, today you have an extra special offer to share with us.
That's right, Joe. For anyone who's looking to do a new window project right now, we're offering some huge savings with our 4th of July flash sale. You can lock in that price and you can get limited long-term financing of 0% APR for 48 months. And on top of that, for anyone who calls right now, we're offering an additional $200 off of every window you purchase.
That's an amazing deal. Now, for a project like this, you probably have to put some money down, right?
Absolutely not. That's one of the great things, Joe, about working with West Shore Home. A lot of people think when they're starting a project like this, they need to have thousands of dollars saved up for a down payment, but that's simply not the case.
Fantastic. Kirsten, thanks so much, folks. It does not get any easier than this. Call West Shore Home now to take advantage of their 4th of July flash sale. Call in right now to get 0% APR for 48 months, and for a limited time, they're taking $200 off every single window you buy. Don't miss this offer. Call West Shore Home now.
Nancy Cox, 30 years of covering Kentucky, serving the bluegrass, and celebrating what makes our home a special place. Congratulations, Nancy, on 30 remarkable years at LEX 18, and many more to come.